In the quiet state of Utah, a tragic murder shook the nation. The governor called on Americans to step back to cool the fires of political hostility. But after the death of Charlie Kirk, few truly believed that unity would be the path forward. History reminds us this is not the first time. 14 years ago, a Democratic congresswoman was shot in the head in Arizona. 8 years ago, a Republican congressman was gunned down at baseball practice. Even a global pandemic, COVID, did not bring Americans closer. Instead, it deepened the fractures already dividing the country. The truth is painfully simple. America's political system rewards those who inflame tension, not those who ease it. And so, a haunting question lingers. Can this nation break free from the cycle of hatred and violence? Or is the United States standing at the most dangerous crossroads in its history? These questions, and more, USMag will uncover. This is USMag. Across the United States, one truth defines modern politics. For a candidate to succeed, they must echo exactly what their supporters want to hear, not search for the middle ground. This is the byproduct of the American political system, a structure that pushes politics deeper into division and further away from effectiveness. Even in the media, those who comment on politics are rewarded not for balance, but for anger, for fueling outrage, and for the ad revenue that follows. It was this profit-driven cycle that shaped the unusual appeal from the governor of Utah. The killing of Charlie Kirk carried a message, a plea to Americans: hug a family member, step outside, do something good for your community. In a sea of bitter division, that call for reconciliation felt almost rare and deeply welcome. But how different is this era from the 1960s and 70s? Because political violence and division are not new to America. More than 160 years ago, the country went to war with itself, a war that, in truth, never fully ended. In the 1960s, within just 5 years, a U.S. president was assassinated. Soon after, his brother was murdered during his own presidential campaign. 2 towering leaders of the civil rights movement also gunned down. In the 1970s, 2 separate shooting attempts were made on a sitting president. And in 1980, Ronald Reagan was struck by an assassin's bullet. Only last year, Donald Trump survived 2 assassination attempts. Even as those cases had only begun moving through the courts, Charlie Kirk was killed. Yet, this moment is different from the 60s and 70s, and that difference is what troubles Utah's governor. He chose his words carefully, avoiding statements that could drive people further apart. But his message was clear. He placed blame directly on social media companies. Governor Spencer said, "In nearly every murder and every attempted murder in the past 5 to 6 years, social media has played a critical role." And then came a striking warning. The damage social media has inflicted on American society is so severe that even the word cancer may be far too weak. This is the America of today, a nation torn between connection and collapse, and the answers remain uncertain. After the killing of Charlie Kirk, most social media platforms stayed silent. No official statements, but Elon Musk, owner of X, spoke out. He claimed the far left was celebrating Kirk's death and warned, with extremists who take joy in murder, unity is impossible. On the wider debate about social media's role, Musk added, "Even if conversations on X turn negative, at least there's still discussion." Then came a striking comparison. It's like a failed marriage. The collision of social media and politics has grown so destructive that even deeply political Americans are worried. At Utah State University, Caitlin Girafty, head of Kirk's student organization, admitted, "Without doubt, social media is a difficult challenge for our society." She added, "You can't even have a conversation with someone who holds different political views, and that is heartbreaking." It is a troubling irony. Kirk saw himself as a champion of free speech, yet his critics never agreed. And after his death, disagreement in America was pushed even further back. Within days, rival political camps were already sharpening their narratives, each side pointing at the other. On the left, many argued the suspect may have been radicalized online, through the internet or private group chats. They called for a deeper investigation to see if a larger conspiracy was involved. But the reality is, fixing this fracture is no one's priority. Researchers of extremism caution that framing the divide simply as left versus right may not help at all. Rachel Kleinfeld, senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, explained, "It's vital to understand what is truly driving people to lose control. There is always the wish to lower the temperature, to ease the tension, but society needs greater courage." Her warning was clear. If we are to begin a new chapter as a society, we must look beyond blame. Because right now, it feels like a failed marriage, one that only ends with finger-pointing. How should reconciliation take place? If America truly wants to break free from the algorithms that fuel division, it will take a leader. Not just any leader, but one strong enough, committed enough to pursue unity. Political analyst David Drucker explained it this way: "I don't know exactly how we climb out of this, but if both parties, and that means more than just politicians, stop the endless blame and agree to end the cycle, we could find a way forward." He added, "Usually, it's the president who provides that bridge, but I don't see how we reach that stage today. Donald Trump is not that kind of president. He thrives when locked in conflict with an opponent. To him, the left isn't just a rival. He believes they want to destroy his MAGA movement." And after the killing of Charlie Kirk, Trump's tone shifted noticeably from that of Utah's governor. When asked how he would fix the crisis, Trump answered cautiously, "If I told you, I'd get in trouble, but I can't simply ignore it." He insisted that far-right extremists radicalize because they refuse to accept crime, but the real threat comes from extremists on the left. Following Kirk's death, the Oval Office declared, "Left-wing extremism and political violence have harmed countless innocents and taken lives." Trump framed it not as the act of one person, but as the work of a broader radical movement. And other White House officials echoed the same line. Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller vowed, "I swear before God, we are using every resource to dismantle these networks. We will do this, and we will do it in Charlie's name." Yet research into politically motivated killings in America shows something else. For decades, most of these cases have been linked to the far right, and experts warn more evidence is still needed before drawing final conclusions. Is America reliving its past? Republican Congressman Joe Scarborough reminded us that the nation has endured dark and turbulent chapters before: the late 1960s, the early 1970s, the Vietnam War, the Watergate scandal. Moments when anger and mistrust shook America to its core. And yet, the country pressed forward. It overcame the violence, it bridged its divisions, and when the bicentennial arrived, Americans stood together in celebration. Scarborough's words carried a quiet conviction. It will happen again. From across the aisle, Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock of Georgia, one of the nation's most prominent Black leaders, denounced political violence as the ultimate anti-democratic act. But he also pointed to the progress America has made in confronting racism. He spoke of his own family's story. "Every family's history is more complex than the simple stories we tell at reunions," he said. His father, even in a military uniform, was once forced to surrender his bus seat to a young white passenger, and yet today, his son sits in the United States Senate. His testimony carried both pain and hope. Now, as America prepares to celebrate its 250th anniversary, historian and filmmaker Ken Burns offered a reminder. Many say history repeats itself, but it never truly has. Instead, quoting Mark Twain, he observed, "History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes." The lesson is clear. Today's struggles may echo the past, but they are never exact replicas. Yes, anger and conflict have always been part of the American story, but the idea that the system has always rewarded those who thrive on division is not entirely true. Still, the danger remains, for in this climate, America risks becoming weaker, not stronger. Former Defense Secretary Bob Gates once warned of three looming threats: the rise of China, the decline of Russia, and perhaps most dangerous of all, America's own internal divisions. And rivals know this. They understand how deeply division erodes America's strength. They exploit it online, amplifying anger. And tragically, Americans themselves are making that work even easier. The story of America is still being written. Understanding its past may be the key to shaping its future. For deeper insights and the questions that matter most, subscribe to USMag and share this journey with others.